And I have the privilege of introducing and interviewing John Avellanet, who is going to be leading our Data Integrity Masterclass on March 13th at Xavier University. It is occurring the day before our FDA co-sponsored conference, PharmaLink. And you are welcome to join us for the masterclass as well as for the PharmaLink conference that whole week. So I'd like to introduce John. John Avellanet is the Managing Director and Principal of Cerulean Associates. John is an award-winning FDA data integrity compliance expert known for his business savvy, pragmatic advice, and engaging, friendly style. John was the industry expert reviewer for the International BSI Standard 10008, entitled Evidential Weight and Legal Admissibility of Electronic Information, and serves as a lead expert on the ISPE's Data Integrity Working Group. He has trained regulatory agency officials on advanced inspection tactics for data integrity, and in 2014, John co-authored the book Pharmaceutical Regulatory Inspections, along with several current and former regulatory agency officers from Health Canada, WHO, MHRA, and EMA. So the neat thing is John trains FDA investigators, and he's here to train you. So what we're doing today is recording just a preview of what you might experience if you're able to join us on March 13th. So with that, John, what advice do you often give FDA and industry related to data integrity?
So one of the things that I try to make clear to everyone involved, whether it's FDA investigators or to industry folks, is to recognize that this is an evolving process for us all. We can sit here today on a Thursday and say these are the data integrity controls that we should have in place. But the reality is the technology moves so fast sometimes that those controls may be obsolete or out of date by next Friday. So the challenge that we have to think through is what, from the larger holistic perspective, is our overall plan to put in place, and do we have little stage gates or stop points along the way to continuously verify that we're making good progress, that nothing has slipped through the cracks, that we're managing and mitigating those risks associated with the data and our decisions around product safety, efficacy, and quality and compliance. So to really think of it as a journey that will end, because we will get a full handle and control on it. But for many of us, we're really starting early in that process, and to really get a good feel for the fact that it's not something we're going to knock out here in the next 6 months.
Great. Okay, thank you. And why are we still struggling with data integrity if this has been an issue for so many years, and it's definitely nothing new, and it permeates everything that we document?
Well, because I think that it calls for a shift in mindset that all of us, myself included, sometimes either A, forget about, or B, don't understand the full implications. Let me give you an example. If you look in the pharma GMPs at 21 CFR 211.188, you'll see a simple sentence in there that says that you need to retain your records of your in-process quality control testing. Well, let's think about this in terms of data integrity. If your firm is using any sort of audio or visual AV inspection system, maybe for container stopper enclosures, maybe you're using a tablet release pill, it's camera, anything like that, you're supposed to be retaining the photos and the videos. And that was all well and good in the 70s. But now the technology has advanced so much that it's really physically impossible to retain all of those photos. I have a client that has a tablet release camera, and they take 60,000 photos an hour, 6 days a week, 24 hours a day. It is physically impossible for them to retain an entire year's worth of those photos, much less the 2 years that are required under FDA, assuming you have no adverse events. So really the question becomes, if we can't do that, what is the defensible stance that we can do? How do we set up our data integrity control programs to retain those right records How do we manage that? How often does our quality group go back and audit the long-term data archives? How often does our quality group go back and audit the list of authorized users to our various systems? These are all elements of data integrity controls within the quality system, but yet these are not aspects that we tend to think about doing in the context of the 20th century framework of a quality system that we've all grown up in. So I think that's the real challenge for all of us, is what are the specific steps that we do? And that's kind of the approach that I take, is saying, knowing that's the challenge, here are the specific steps that do work. Here are some that you should consider that may work for you, but might not. And here are some that you may hear out there, but I've never, ever in 20 years heard them work at all.
Right. And what's great is you're sharing this experience that you have with FDA investigators who will go out and look for this information, and giving them the mindset that some things work, some things don't, instead of this is exactly what you need to find, this is what you will find. That's just not reality. So it's great that you're able to paint that realistic picture for investigators as well as people who attend your class.
That's right. And that I think is the value at the end of the day that many FDA people have told me that I bring to them. It's not the, here's what you need to go look for. It's, okay, here's what the regulation says. This is physically not able to be complied with anymore. So
Right.
Therefore, these are things that are acceptable, that firms can do. So you need to be looking for those things and not just write them in observation because they don't comply with the letter of the law as it was written back in the 70s.
Right. Great. And so, John, I just want to thank you for giving us this preview. And at the master class, I know that you give a lot of hands-on practical information to the attendees, such as SOPs and things like that. Do you have any comments on what else they might experience in the classroom with you?
Well, we do a lot of interactive exercises, and I ask people to bring their own experiences. Most people walk out of the sessions very excited, very happy. They start the day a little nervous and scared, and they end up walking out of there ready and with the knowledge and the capability that they can tackle the problems they have back in their own firms. So I have yet in 11 years of doing this, giving these types of sessions, to hear a single person say I didn't learn anything. And I guess the other thing I should also point out is I don't do death by PowerPoint. So that's another positive.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you, John, for joining me today. And I look forward to having you join me on March 13th, as well as everyone else who's listening. Please look on our website for a way to register for this master class. And as I mentioned before, please plan on staying that week and joining us for the FDA Xavier PharmaLink conference. So with that, thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.